GearNetwork.com.
The following is a presentation of the Gear Radio Network.
Hey, everybody. This is Lauren Marie Taylor from Friday the 13th, Part 2, wishing you a happy Halloween. You are listening to the All Bets Are Off podcast with Robbie Vegas.
What's up, rock soldiers? This is the Rockstar Robbie Vegas bringing you another episode of the All Bets Are Off podcast. Welcome 2022. We kicked things off last week with a bang with Rudy Sarzo, and what a legendary career. So if you haven't listened to that one yet, please do. I'm urging you to go back and listen to it right now. It is one of my favorite interviews I've ever done in the 3 years of this podcast, and Rudy is absolutely an amazing human being. So I'm going to keep pushing that one for a while, so go back and check that out. And before we dig into today's episode, I have a special message for you guys from Ace Von Johnson, who you voted as Guest of the Year for 2021. And this is his second time winning Guest of the Year. So here's that message from Ace.
Hey everybody, this is Ace Von Johnson from LA Guns and whatever the hell else you may know me from. And I just want to give a huge shout out and thank you to everybody that voted for me on the All Bets Are Off podcast Guest of the Year contest. Really appreciate the support, and hopefully I'll see you back on the road soon. Stay cruel.
All right, thank you, Ace. So happy you swung by to talk to your fan base here. As my normal co-host would usually say, they are the Ace holes. So thank you so much, guys, for voting, and I'm so glad that Ace dropped by to say something to you guys about it. And today we are taking a look forward at 2022. And what we're going to do here is go over horror movies that are coming out, heavy metal and rock and roll tours that are coming, albums that are being released, and we're going to take a look at wrestling. So basically all three topics that we normally talk about on the show, we're going to talk about today, and it's going to be a look forward into 2022 and what we should expect and what's coming. And so I have a co-host today who's not my normal co-host, Chaz Stanley. Shout out to Chaz Stanley. But do you want to introduce yourself, co-host?
My name is Austin.
So this is Austin. And Austin, do you want to tell everybody how we know each other?
I am your son and you're my father.
All right. So Austin doesn't know what we're doing today. I just pulled him in here and said, you're going to be on a podcast. And that's as far as we got. So we're going to be talking about a bunch of things. And I'm going to be asking Austin his opinion. And I think we should start with horror movies that are coming out in 2022 for all of our horror listeners. So are you going to watch any horror movies this year?
Probably.
Do you know any that are going to be coming out this year?
Most likely the Scream one?
Yeah, the Scream one is the first one I was going to mention because that's coming out soon. That's coming out next week, and I'm super excited to see it, and I'm a huge fan of the Scream franchise. How do you think Scream 5 is going to hold up to the first four?
I don't know. I did like the first two.
Yeah? Which one did you like better out of those?
Out of those, I think the first one was definitely the best in my opinion.
Okay, so I'm thinking that Scream 5 needs to live up to the first one because that's such a great series. And for all you horror listeners that join me every single week, make sure you're following us on ABAOpod across the board on social media and let us know what you think after you see it. This movie is going to be awesome. I don't care what anybody says. I'm setting the bar high for myself because I cannot wait to go see it. Austin, I don't think you're old enough to go to the theater to see it, but we'll see what we can do.
I honestly, my favorite part about the first one is all the way in the beginning when Scream guts the guy.
The girl.
No, because the guy's outside on the back deck on the chair.
Yep, you corrected me. Now everybody knows that you've actually seen it. Yes, that is great. So I'm going to run down a quick list. Not all of the horror movies that are coming out in 2022, but we're just going to talk about ones that stand out. First of all, there's going to be a remake of Anaconda. Not really sure how I feel about it. The original came out in 1997, and of course we know it's about a giant snake in the Amazon, and I don't mean Amazon that you order packages from. I'm talking about, jungle, wooded, nasty, sweaty, disgusting, filled with spiders and snakes Amazon. And I don't know how I feel about it, but why don't you guys let me know how you feel about that one?
I kind of want to see the first one.
Well, maybe you will see the first Anaconda, but I don't know. I don't know how I feel about them doing all these remakes, but at the same time, some of them are pretty good, so we'll see. All right, next movie that we're going to mention, honorable mention to, is they're doing The Boogeyman, which is an adaptation of Stephen King's The Boogeyman. So I just wanted to throw that out there real quick for all the Stephen King fans. Do you know who Stephen King is?
Yeah, he's the author.
All right, just making sure.
I've read some of his books.
Oh, yeah? Like what?
One of them.
Okay.
I forgot the name of it. He's got some weird names.
All right. I don't know if I believe you, but I guess I'll take your word for it.
Or at least maybe I read a part of it.
Maybe you read a part of it. Maybe you saw some of the movies that were made from his books.
I don't think so.
You knew he was an author, so that's +1.
What's it? The one movie with the twins in the elevator?
The Shining?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is. That is Stephen King, so you do got that one right. Another movie that's coming out in 2022 is called The Cellar, and this one sounded interesting to me if you like ghost stories. So this is about a woman's daughter who vanishes in their basement, and she finds out that there's an entity down there, and she has to face it or she loses her family's souls forever. So that stood out to me. I think that's kind of interesting.
That reminds me of the Jumanji movie with The Rock, because they touch the board game and they just disappear into the board game. And if they can't get Jumanji, they're just stuck there forever.
That's true. I think that Jumanji might be a more kid-friendly version of what I just read. So we'll give that one a try too. Here's one that I'm looking forward to is Evil Dead Rise, because I love the Evil Dead series. I love Evil Dead 1 and 2. I love Army of Darkness. I even like the Evil Dead remake. For all you people who hate remakes, I apologize, but I really did like it. So I'm super excited to see Evil Dead Rise. And I don't know if Ash is in this movie or not. Just reading about it, it doesn't mention him. It's about two estranged sisters. So we'll see if they weave him into it somehow. But as far as I can tell, I don't see his name in the credits either. So we'll see how that goes.
For the Evil Dead... you said Army of Darkness. Are they kind of intertwined together?
Army of Darkness is Evil Dead Part 3.
But didn't we watch Army of Darkness Part 4?
No, we watched Army of Darkness. That's the one that you saw.
Oh.
Yeah, so...
Okay. So that's Part 3.
That is Part 3.
But then why would they call it Evil Dead?
Well, Evil Dead 1 and 2, Army of Darkness, the Evil Dead remake, and now Evil Dead Rise is the correct order of the movies.
Oh.
So you saw Part 3.
Can I see Part 1 and 2?
Maybe.
Okay.
We'll see what 2022 brings. We're looking ahead. Maybe that's a goal for 2022, to watch the rest of the Evil Deads.
Dun, 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 dun. Final
Destination 6. I don't think I need to tell anybody what's going on with Final Destination. It's one of the most well-known franchises out there. So... I don't know, I'm just looking forward to it. I always have fun with those movies. They're nothing crazy insane. They're just fun, and they always were fun. So looking forward to those for all you horror freaks. And the one that Austin's pointing at right now, Halloween Ends, comes out this year. So what do you have to say about that?
After watching Halloween Kills, I'm so excited for this one.
Yeah? So you liked Halloween Kills?
Yeah.
What did you like about it?
I think, it's how, at the end, it's a giant plot twist, 100%.
All right, don't give it away for the people that haven't seen it yet.
I will not. But when I saw that, I was so surprised. And then when I saw the movie end, I was like, there has to be another one.
Well, and now there is. So Halloween Ends is supposed to be the end of the Halloween franchise, hence the title Halloween Ends. So we will see if that is actually true, because this franchise has been rebooted and revamped many, many times. And I am looking forward to this one. I always look forward to the classic slashers coming back in any kind of movies. Whether or not they're good remains to be seen, but I do always look forward to it. So right up there with Scream for me is Halloween Ends. And another reboot that's coming out this year from the 1987 film, Hellraiser, is actually being rebooted. Again, I don't know how you guys feel about remakes, but sometimes they're all right. So let's see, because I'm not a huge fan of Hellraiser to begin with, but I mean, he is an iconic character, Pinhead, of course, and all the horror community is yelling at me right now for saying that, but he really is an iconic character, and I am going to see this, and I do look forward to that one too.
I have heard of Pinhead and seen the movie, or not seen the movie, but I've seen it going through Netflix and stuff, and I've always looked at it, and I never really knew when it came out, but from the way the picture looks, they look almost identical. They didn't look like they changed much.
I agree. So we'll see if the reboot makes it better or makes it worse. So one of my favorite horror movies of all time is The Howling, and that came out in 1981, and they're doing a reboot of it in 2022. So I'm actually excited to see this reboot. There's not a lot of great werewolf movies out there, but The Howling is absolutely, absolutely one of them. So I hope that the reboot does it justice.
They must be running out of ideas or something, because they're rebooting a lot of movies.
I know, I think that all the time, but at the same time, maybe they're trying to make them more modern, but I think that the originals are always creepier and better anyways, but that's just me.
I could agree with that.
Well, let's move on to another franchise that's growing in 2022 with Insidious 5. These are just fun movies. If you like hauntings and possession movies and things like that, these are always fun and they will creep you out. And I don't have a problem with these movies. I think they're pretty good. And I don't mind seeing a good haunting movie every now and then. I don't just do the hack and slash movies. I like to do all of horror.
I've heard of Insidious. Last time I checked, I only saw there were like 3 movies. But apparently now there's 5.
It's one whole big franchise here, and another one I want to point out here, Jeepers Creepers Reborn. I love the Jeepers Creepers movies, so another exciting movie for me. And again, if you guys have opinions on any of these, or after you see them, ABAOpod across social media, interact with us, because we have fun with you guys, so please let us know what you think.
I have heard of Jeepers Creepers, and I've seen what the guy looks like. And I've heard, like, the one song out of that movie, I think it was. And that's pretty much all I know about it.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a feeling they're gonna, like you said, all the original movies are always, like, the scariest ones.
Mm-hmm.
I can agree with you with that, but except for, remember we were watching that one, Netflix show, Movies That Made Us.
Yes.
But, like, the first Halloween had 0 blood at all.
Yes.
So that one... Could you say that one is, like, the original ones are creepy for that one?
Yes, because the original Halloween was all less is more. The more that you don't see, the more that it freaked you out. And that will always be one of my favorite movies for that reason. Because you can
picture the worst in your head.
Exactly.
Okay.
So now, another one that we're going to mention, 2022, The Lost Boys. I don't think this is a reboot. I think this might be a sequel. I'm not really sure. But either way, it's great to see The Lost Boys coming back because it's been a long time. I think there's already 3 or 4 of them. But the sequels that have come out prior weren't as good. They didn't live up to the original. So we'll see what happens with the new Lost Boys, whether it's a reboot or a sequel. So looking forward to seeing what that one's all about.
I'm pretty sure it's a sequel because it says Lost Boys and then right next to it says 3.
It may be. And it said it was a revival, not a reboot, so we'll see what happens there. Another big one coming is Orphan First Kill. I don't think that there's been a sequel to this movie since 2009 when the original movie came out, but this is actually going to be a prequel, so that should be pretty interesting.
This sounds like it's like if The Nun was younger.
Maybe. We'll have to watch it and see if The Nun was an orphan.
And then they turned into a nun and then hit orphans.
Oh, that would be dark. So let's see. We got an Untitled Pet Cemetery project. That's all it says. So we'll see because the reboot, remake, whatever you want to call it, was terrible. So we'll see what they do with that one.
I've seen a lot of ads for the Pet Cemetery when it first came out, or like maybe it was the reboot. I don't know if it was, but I just kept watching it, and the more I thought about it, it didn't seem a lot like Pets.
No, it's not a lot of Pets, but, you'll see that when you watch it. So
Eventually.
Next up is a remake of Pumpkinhead, which I love Pumpkinhead, so please do this justice. He's one of my favorite 80s slasher villains. So please, if you're going to remake this movie, please do it well.
Sounds familiar.
I'm sure you've seen it a million times or somewhere. You live with me, so. A Quiet Place Part 3. Definitely digging this franchise so far. Quiet Place was such a great movie, and it kicked off what is now turning out to be a fantastic franchise. So big hopes for that one too. I don't know about you listeners, but definitely got big hopes for that one.
That one's coming out 2023.
Oh man, we jumped the gun here. We're not even in 22 anymore. Well, The Reef is coming out in 22. The Reef Stalked, which is, of course, if you've seen The Reef, you know that that's a shark attack movie. So I always enjoy those, but nobody's ever going to be better than Jaws. So Salem's Lot, again, not sure if this is a reboot, remake, or a sequel, but either way, I'm going to check it out because Salem's Lot was pretty amazing. It
sounds like that one book I read. I forgot who it was by, but I was reading a book called like Salem Stories of like witches and witchcraft.
Except this one's about vampires, so
better.
It's even better. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark Part 2, great.
Dun, dun, dun.
I really enjoyed the first one. We already talked about Scream, of course. Here's one that I really wanted to talk about. Silent Night, Deadly Night is getting a reboot. One of my favorite horror movies, not just a Christmas slasher, but in general, one of my favorite slashers, holiday or not. And they're rebooting it from 1984. Now, there's already 4 sequels, 5 movies total.
Wow.
So this isn't like a reboot of the original one. And this one needs to be done well because it's a cult classic and the horror community will not be happy if this one doesn't come out good.
I need to see the first one.
Well, we'll talk about that.
Sounds kind of fun.
In case you guys haven't caught on, Austin can't see all these movies because he's not old enough. So certain movies he gets away with, but other ones he's not watching just yet.
I can get away with most of them.
I don't know about that.
Maybe like one or two.
So, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022. So, again, another big film in the franchise, we'll just say. Leatherface is a classic character coming back in 2022. You can't really be too down on these movies. I haven't really seen any Texas Chainsaw movies that are bad. I've seen some that are better than others, but overall, pretty killer franchise, no pun intended.
After 50 years.
That's right.
Leatherface has come out of hiding to terrorize some people.
Of course he is, and that's how it should be. And then we have Urban Legend, which, again, not sure if it's a reboot or another one in the franchise, because now they're not putting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at the end. They just say Urban Legend 2022. So who knows if this is a reboot, remake, or if it's another one. But I did enjoy the very first Urban Legend movie, and even the second one was pretty good. I think after that there might have been another that kind of went off the rails, but I can't really remember off the top of my head. But if you know, shoot us a ABAOpod message on the Twitter or the IG machine.
Yeah.
What are you pointing at?
Violent Night is coming out in 2022.
And that's plot unknown. We don't even know what that movie's about, but it's coming out.
It sounds like a Christmas movie.
It does sound like a Christmas movie, and maybe it is. Another Wolfman movie is going to be coming out. And again, I love werewolf movies, and there's not enough good ones, so I have high hopes. Of course, the description of it is every single werewolf movie you've ever seen. A man becomes afflicted by an ancient curse after he's bitten by a werewolf. So not very descriptive. That's every single werewolf movie in the world.
It says it is number 2, I think. Or maybe it's just like, maybe it stands for, I don't know what that stands for. It could stand for 2, could stand for remake, could stand for anything.
Yeah, we don't really know, but here's one that sounded exciting to me called 1031. It takes place on Halloween. Get it? 1031. And a woman takes her niece and nephew out trick-or-treating, finding a message in the candy saying there's a killer on her block. That just sounds like it's going to be a fun hack and slash.
It sounds like kind of like a type of Halloween movie in a way, but like a more secretive way of finding out.
It is a Halloween movie. That's why it's 1031, October 31st.
I mean, like in the Halloween franchise.
You have to be specific when you say that.
Okay.
So since we're on the topic of horror movies, let's talk some horror conventions real quick. Monster Mania is back. First Monster Mania of the year is going to be March 11th through the 13th, 2022 at the Crown Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. So let's just run down. Not everybody is announced yet, but I want to just go through with some of the people that are announced and let you guys know who's going to be there, just in case you're looking to buy tickets. Just a few, we won't go through them all. Michael C. Hall, who is very famous for playing Dexter. Jennifer Carpenter, who's also in Dexter and Quarantine and The Exorcism of Emily Rose. We have James Jude Courtney, who was Michael Myers in Halloween 2018 and Halloween Kills.
Ooh.
So that's a fun one.
He was also in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Devil in the Flesh, The Killing Grounds, and Babylon 5.
Yes, and then we have Anthony Michael Hall, was in Halloween Kills and Weird Science, one of my favorite movies, The Breakfast Club, Edward Scissorhands. We have Ernie Hudson, who was in all of the Ghostbusters movies, including the remakes, Afterlife, Ghostbusters 2016. He was literally in all of them.
Oh, he was also in The Hood of Horror.
Yes, he was.
He was in some horror movies.
Logan Kim, who's also in Ghostbusters Afterlife.
First con ever.
And two people who I absolutely love and adore who have been in amazing horror movies from the 80s, Barbara Crampton and Jeffrey Combs. Both were in The Reanimator. Jeffrey Combs also in Castle Freak and House on Haunted Hill 99. Barbara Crampton's been in everything, and she's still in everything. One of her new movies that came out in 2021, Jacob's Wife, has become an instant classic and one of my favorites. So that's a big deal, too. And, of course, Roger Jackson, the voice of Ghostface. Oh. And Dana DeLorenzo from the Ash vs. the Evil Dead TV series. So that's who they've announced so far, so that's a big one. What do you think?
I've seen Ghostbusters Afterlife, and that's a really good movie. I'm not going to spoil it. It's actually out now. You can actually buy it on Vudu, I think.
Is that right?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm very excited for this one.
You're very excited for Monster Mania?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's give you guys also a couple more dates. Monster Mania is also coming to Cherry Hill in August, the 12th through the 14th, and Hunt Valley, Maryland, September 30th through October 2nd. And I just heard that they announced they will be doing another one in November, and we'll probably talk about that on a later episode as soon as that comes out. And we're going to stick with horror cons for one more second before we jump ship and do some different stuff here. And Horror Hound Weekend has announced a bunch of guests, and this is going to take place in Cincinnati, Ohio, March 25th through the 27th. So
Ohio's a nice place. I like that.
Ohio is nice. It has a lot of nice places.
I've been to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I like that place a lot.
I knew you might. Well, let's see. We got Nev Campbell, Skeet Ulrich, and Matthew Lillard appearing all from Scream. We have Tony Todd, Kane Hodder. We're just doing a quick rundown of these. Tom Atkins is going to be there. More guests still to be announced. So check out Monster Mania and Horror Hound. And so I think that wraps up our horror talk for now for 2022. We're just doing some projections. What do you think? Yeah?
I like it.
Sounds good. This is a good lineup, though. I like it. And I think, should we jump into wrestling or music next?
I think we should save music for the last because music's my favorite, and I just, All
right, so we're going to save music for last. So up next, we're going to talk some wrestling. So first of all, WWE Day 1, they just had their first pay-per-view of the year on the 1st. Brock Lesnar's the new champion right now going into 2022.
Oh, I missed it.
You did miss it, but that's okay because there's plenty coming up with the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. So we're in WrestleMania season pretty much right now. Once the Royal Rumble hits, that's it. So...
Oh, that's in, okay, so it's this month, January 29th. It's in St. Louis.
Yes, it is.
That's exciting. It's almost coming up.
He's talking about the Royal Rumble for anybody who doesn't realize what we're talking about right now. So it is coming up. And Austin, who do you think's going to win for the WWE Championship, Brock Lesnar or Bobby Lashley?
If anything, I know Brock Lesnar is a beast.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he will, like, it's either he, I forgot what the saying was, like, go hard or go home.
Go big or go home?
Go big or go home a lot. But Bobby Lashley, I think Bobby Lashley's going to win that one.
All right, bold choice. I also think Bobby Lashley might find a way to win. Whether or not Roman Reigns helps him out is yet to be seen. But there's a lot to look forward to during WrestleMania season. This is when everybody's on their A game. Yeah, I'm totally looking forward to it. Is there anybody you'd like to see main event WrestleMania?
Oh, who do you want?
Who do I want to what?
Be in the main event of WrestleMania?
I don't know. I don't know who I want to win the Royal Rumble yet, or who I think is going to win the Royal Rumble yet. I wouldn't mind seeing any of the guys that we already talked about, plus Drew McIntyre. Maybe Big E will get another chance. We really don't know. I
want to see Drew McIntyre in the main event, but I don't know who else. I kind of want to see... I don't know if this match has already happened because I haven't been watching a lot of wrestling recently, but I want to see Drew McIntyre and Brock Lesnar.
That was last year's WrestleMania.
Never mind.
So that's probably not going to happen again, but Drew McIntyre does deserve it because he beat Brock Lesnar in front of no one thanks to COVID, so it would be nice to see that in front of a big crowd of people, I think.
Okay, then if I had to repick, I still want Drew McIntyre in it, definitely. And I'm thinking, out of all the wrestlers I can think of, I feel like this already happened as well. Drew McIntyre and Roman Reigns. I
would like to see Drew McIntyre and Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. I think that's a WrestleMania main event for sure.
100%.
So, yeah, guys, there's a lot of good things going on in the wrestling world, and right now I want to wish Rey Fenix a speedy recovery from a horrible dislocated elbow last night on AEW Dynamite on TBS. I gotta say, it was ugly looking, and I thought his arm snapped in half, but thankfully they're saying that it was just a bad dislocation, which, for all intents and purposes, still sucks, but it is not as bad as him snapping his arm in half like we initially thought. So, Rey Fenix, thank you for all that you do, and wishing you a speedy recovery for sure.
I just got a tingle from hearing that.
I know, it was disgusting to see, but glad to hear that he's not doing too bad. And we're going to give AEW some love too. We're not sure what's going on yet with Ring of Honor. I don't know if they closed, if they're revamping, or what's going on. Rumors are flying that there is going to be a Ring of Honor show WrestleMania weekend, so we'll see what 2022 brings for them. But just a few things coming up for AEW real quick. AEW Beach Break, January 26th. AEW Revolution, March 6th. And let's see, we got Double or Nothing.
Revolution only girls or something like that?
I don't know. Let's find out. I don't...
because I was playing the one wrestling game, and it was like, I think it was either NXT or something, and it was like Revolution or Rebel or whatever.
No, I think that was something that Impact Wrestling used to do. It doesn't look like that's what this is. Okay. So that's in March. We got Double or Nothing in May, and then, of course, Fyter Fest and Fight for the Fallen are always in July. Oh. And then we wrap the year up with September All Out and November Full Gear. So make sure you're checking out all wrestling. Support wrestling. This fake war that's going on between AEW and WWE is garbage. It's not real. Don't make it a thing. Just enjoy wrestling. I don't care if you watch Impact, New Japan, Ring of Honor. Subscribe to IWTV. See some Rockstar Robbie Vegas matches on IWTV for Upstate Professional Wrestling and whoever else may be putting my matches up there. So check that out and keep up with that.
And if you can't do that, you can always use YouTube.
That's right. And now we're going to take a quick break to roll some commercials for our sponsors, and we'll be right back with some rock and roll heavy metal news for 2022.
Hey everybody, this is Lauren Marie Taylor, creator and host of the Not the Final Girl podcast. Okay, so every horror fan remembers the final girl, right? You know, the one who can outrun and outsmart the Jasons, the Michaels, the Chuckies. I think you get it. But what about the girls and, the guys who met with an untimely end? Those of us who were tortured and tripped, dragged and killed. Don't we deserve some props? As Vicky in Friday the 13th Part 2 and Sheila in Girls Night Out, I know what a drag it is to succumb to those masked and wardrobe-challenged killers, to not be the final girl. On my new podcast, I'll be chatting with other women of horror who share the same fate. Special guests include those final girls as well as the writers and directors who created our characters, only to give us an early expiration date. And if they play nice, we'll let some of those crazed killers of horror tell their side of the story. So join me, Lauren Marie Taylor, on the Not the Final Girl podcast. Be sure to hit that subscribe button so you get the alerts when the episodes drop. Thanks for listening. Keep your doors locked and stay out of the woods.
It's no secret here at the All Bets Are Off podcast that we care about our listeners. So I have a couple questions for you guys. Is something preventing you from achieving your goals? Does something interfere with your happiness? If you answered yes to either one of those things, I need you guys to check out BetterHelp.com/listener. And that's help, H-E-L-P. BetterHelp will assess your needs and match you with your own licensed professional therapist. Connect in a safe and private online environment, and you can even start communicating in under 48 hours. This is not a crisis line. It's not self-help. This is professional counseling done securely online. Send a message to your counselor anytime. You'll get timely and thoughtful responses, plus you can schedule weekly video or phone sessions, all without ever having to sit in an uncomfortable waiting room or leave the comfort of your own home. BetterHelp is committed to facilitating great therapeutic matches, so they make it easy and free to change counselors if needed. It's more affordable than any traditional offline counseling, and financial aid is available. The service is available for clients worldwide, so find the particular expertise you need online and don't limit yourself to counselors located near you. BetterHelp has licensed professional counselors who specialize in depression, stress, anxiety, relationships, sleeping, trauma, anger, family conflicts, LGBT matters, grief, and self-esteem. I know that this time of year, it's tough for everybody. Everybody struggles with a little mental health here and there, but I know it could be a little heavier during the holidays. So anything you share is confidential. Again, it's extremely, extremely convenient, very professional, and incredibly affordable. So don't take my word for it. I need you to go to the website because testimonials are posted daily. Again, this is not a crisis line. In fact, so many people have been using BetterHelp that they're recruiting additional counselors in all 50 states. I want you to start living a happier life today. As a listener, you'll get 10% off your first month by visiting our sponsor, BetterHelp.com/listener. Join over 1 million people who've taken charge of their mental health. Again, that's BetterHelp, HELP.com/listener. All right, so we're coming back. We got the oh, whoa. I think I need a drink of my water here.
That's a good idea.
We got the music coming up next is what I was going to say. So we're going to talk about two things. There's some albums that are going to be coming out in 2022. We're going to mention the bands that have those things going on, but also I wanted to touch on some of the concerts that are going to be happening and bands that are going to be on tour. If a band's only got 1 or 2 shows listed, I probably won't mention them, so don't think that your favorite bands aren't playing. But I'll tell you right now, Austin's pointing at it already because we've seen them together, and he was the same age that I was when I first saw them, and that's Kiss. Kiss is still on tour with the End of the Road tour.
God.
They're really trying to finish this thing up. Obviously, COVID sidelined it, but hopefully, knock on wood, we won't have any cancellations for anything that we've talked about, so far in 2022, because we want these things to go on and continue, get COVID under control so that these bands, these movies, and these wrestlers can do their thing. So I think Kiss is going to be a great show. If you haven't seen them, now is the time, because it's not going to last forever.
They already have 28 concerts to July 21st, 2022. Wow.
And they probably have more than that we don't even know about right now. So as of now, Kiss's tour is raging on to at least July. Another big one, Aerosmith. They're already announcing a bunch of shows for the year. So again, I've seen Aerosmith. It's absolutely incredible. I got to see them with Motley Crue. So make sure you check out Aerosmith. These bands aren't going to be around forever. I'm not going to keep saying that. You guys need to check these rock bands out before you can't.
I saw this one video where, what's his name?
Steven Tyler.
Yes, thank you. Steven Tyler was walking past this guy singing his song on a street performer, and he went up with him. But he was wearing a lot of he had a studded jacket.
Yeah.
So it kept putting frequencies into the microphone, and he sang his own song wrong. Wow.
I mean, that's kind of funny. I like that. That was nice of him to do that, though.
Yeah. The guy just looked at him with the biggest eyes, and he's like,
Well, that's huge. I've heard Steven Tyler's a nice guy. Maybe that solidifies that thought for me. Speaking of Motley Crue, Poison, Def Leppard, and Joan Jett are still slated to do the stadium tour that I bought tickets to years ago, and it's been rescheduled twice now. This is the third date, but it is supposed to happen this coming summer, COVID pending, so we will see. But if so, highly recommend you guys get out and check that one out and start listening through the catalog of all of these bands. Super looking forward to it, and I'm still excited even though I bought the ticket so long ago. I just hope it happens, and I hope that Vince Neil is in good shape and can do his thing.
as long as it happens, is all that matters?
I mean, I hope it happens. We'll see. Guns N' Roses still on tour this year, so really? That's a huge one. That's a tour that nobody ever thought they would see again, so I still have yet to see that tour. I have seen Guns N' Roses, but not with Axl, Slash, and Duff all on the same stage together. I saw them with DJ Ashba, who I also love, but it's not the same. It's not the same. You got to see the originals, so.
Not the same.
There's another one. Iron Maiden, already on tour this year. I'm talking, they're literally going until October already, so a lot of chances to see Iron Maiden depending on where you live. I think Austin was pointing at Slipknot here.
It's only one concert till July 30th, but Slipknot is such a good band, though.
Yeah, they are, and, the loss of Joey Jordison is still a tough one that happened in 2021, but very cool that Slipknot's still out there doing their thing, and I'm sure concerts are going to be added. The Scorpions are going to be on tour in 2022, or at least playing a bunch of shows. Whether or not it's a tour, I don't know. Ozzy. Also, of course, Ozzy's always playing. I don't think Ozzy will ever not play. As a friend of the show, Dee Snider, said, they're going to have him hitting him with the paddles, and he's going to be sitting up singing Paranoid. So Korn is going to be on tour. I'm not sure who they're touring with, but they are listed to be on tour.
30 concerts. So
yeah.
Whatever. And then Five Finger Death Punches as well.
Five Finger Death Punch has a few concerts for 2022. I'm sure they'll add some more. Foreigner.
Ooh.
I can't believe Foreigner is still going, and I think that's awesome. Whitesnake, Shinedown has a bunch of concerts booked already for 2022, as does Judas Priest and Evanescence. We got some big-time concerts coming through,
There's
guys.
Whitesnake, Deep Purple.
Deep Purple, I've seen them before. Great show, always. I gotta say, Alice Cooper's tour for 2022 looks amazing. It's Alice Cooper, Buck Cherry, and Ace Frehley. And what an amazing tour. And a few tours that aren't listed on here that I happen to know are happening are Wednesday 13 and the Haxons. And if you get a chance to see either one of those, please check them out. And I didn't mean to say those together as if they're playing together, but they're not. But that's two great tours that you don't want to let pass you by. So make sure you check those out in 2022. And if there's anyone out there who knows some tours that we don't know, hit us up, ABAOpod across the board on social media.
That is for what was it? Alice Cooper is very, that sounds like a great tour.
It does, and that's a concert that I want to see, so I need to find out how close they're getting to our neck of the woods here and check that one out, because that's exciting.
Next up is 3 Days of Grace, 14 concerts to May 6th, 2022.
Yep, and they're another band that's been around for a minute, and...
I only like one of their songs, really.
Just one?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I've seen them live before, but Hailstorm's also got a bunch of concerts booked already for 2022, and they're one of my favorites. Tesla is announcing shows still, and I believe they're touring with my good buddies in Bad Marriage. You know, we've had Mike Fitz and Todd on the show, so shout out to those two guys, and thank you for being friends of the show. And Ted Nugent is still out there plugging along.
Ooh.
I know a lot of people don't like him at the moment, but he's a badass guitar player, so let it go.
Limp Bizkit.
Limp Bizkit is still announcing shows.
Wait,
they did cancel a bunch of their shows in 2021, so hopefully they're making those up in 2022.
I did research on the lead singer. Didn't Fred Durst die?
He did not. Fred Durst is well and good. He is alive 100%. Don't believe everything you read on the internet.
Okay. Or maybe I just remembered my I have a whole presentation I could pull out my computer and show you right now.
You did a presentation on Fred Durst?
Yeah.
For
school.
Wow. Hear that, people?
We had a music class. We had to pick one song or one person out of any band. Just one person though, or else we'd have to research every single person in the band. Mm-hmm. And out of all the people, the first person I thought of was Fred Durst.
Wow. And did you learn a lot about Limp Bizkit and Fred Durst?
Yes.
All right. Doing rock and roll history.
Their number one song, I think, is my favorite song.
What would that be?
I think it was, what's it called?
You tell me. You did the presentation.
1 second, I forgot. I don't know why. It was,
You didn't do a presentation.
I did. I will go pull it out right now.
What's the song?
Why can't I remember? Okay. It's the one I kept playing in the car. I forgot what it was.
Break Stuff?
Yes. My God.
You couldn't remember 2 words?
No.
And you did a whole presentation?
I kept thinking of the other song that I was listening to all day today.
And what would that be?
Nookie.
Oh, you don't even know that one. You just found it today.
No, I did not.
You did a whole presentation, couldn't remember 2 words?
Here, I'll go get it right now.
We don't have time for that.
Yes, we do.
Oh, here's a tour that's happening, guys. The Pretty Reckless is playing a bunch of shows in 2022. One of my favorite, I call it a newer act, even though they've been around for a hot minute, because, you know, I'm usually into the 80s metal, but and the new metal, of course. But the Pretty Reckless are on tour for 2022 and had one of the best albums of 2021, by the way, so check them out if you haven't yet. Trivium looks like they're lining up some shows for 2022. Who else do we got on this list? I see a bunch for Seven Dust. Ghost has got a bunch already. Pop Evil, I've seen them open up for Poison. Pretty good live. What else do we got going on here? Cannibal Corpse, hometown guys from where I'm from. Soulfly, and Steve Vai has a bunch of shows. Also, throwback to our last guest, Quiet Riot already has 40 shows booked for 2022 and adding more. So we'll see what happens with that as Austin pulls up his Fred Durst presentation on PowerPoint that he did on his laptop for school. So he really did do a presentation on Limp Bizkit for school. And there's a picture of Fred Durst.
I even have the YouTube.com thing at the top. And it's top 5 songs. I was right. Number 1 was my favorite, Break Stuff. He's released 15 albums. I only named 5 because I didn't want to name. I think he actually released more than 15, or exactly 15 because I think it was just 15 because I didn't want to name them all.
All right, that's fair. I wouldn't want to name them all either.
Some of them were long.
Just like I'm not going to name all of the tours, but I'm going to give a handful, and then we're going to jump into some albums that might be coming out in 2022. So Faith No More is going to be on tour.
Ace Frehley
with Alice Cooper, Drowning Pool, Candlebox, Greta Van Fleet, and
Vince Neil.
Of course, Vince Neil, because he's in Motley Crue. And and like I mentioned, Quiet Riot, Wednesday 13, and the Haxons are some tours I'm looking forward to. And I hope Nita Strauss goes on tour in 2022 also, because that's one of my favorite shows to see.
Ooh.
Let's talk about albums before we wrap this thing up. So,
all right, I'm cool with that.
Let's see. I'm not going to talk about all of them because we don't have all day. But I am going to pick out... We could, but we won't. I am going to pick out some ones that I think our listeners are interested in. So Steve Vai is coming out with a new album this month, actually, in January. So there's that.
Ooh.
Now let's move into February.
Let's see.
Oh,
Korn.
we got Korn coming out with Requiem in February, and for all you big Korn listeners and people who started listening to us when we did our new metal breakdown, that'll excite you guys. Saxon is coming out with a new album. Holy crap! I didn't even know those guys were still playing. That's fantastic.
There's Napalm Death.
Napalm Death is coming out with a new album. Slash is coming out with a new album featuring Miles Kennedy of Alter Bridge fame. Guns N' Roses. Wow, they're coming out with an EP. So. Just a few songs called Hard School, which looks like it's dropping the 25th of February if all goes well. Also, the Scorpions are coming out with a new album in February called Rock Believer. So, little something for our 80s metalheads out there because, well, actually, Scorpions were around long before that, but we know those 80s hits the best, don't we?
There is 3 Days of Grace is coming out with a new album.
Where's that one? I don't see it. Oh, okay, that's in May. But before we get there, Fozzy, friend of the show, Chris Jericho, releasing another album with Fozzy called Boombox, and that comes out April 15th, it looks like. So, always happy to see Fozzy. That music is actually Austin, just so you guys know. And then, yes, 3 Days Grace, Explosions comes out in May, and Census Fail is releasing a new album July 15th. That's my birthday. Called Hell Is In Your Head, How Appropriate. I've also heard from Wednesday 13 that there is an album in the works for them, whether it comes out in 22 or 23, I'm not sure, but be on the lookout just in case. Also, I believe Dope is releasing new music in 2022. If I remember correctly from when we had our discussion with Virus and AC Slade, I think that they had mentioned that as well. So 2 that I didn't see on the list, but nonetheless, I do believe that those are coming out. So there's your look ahead at 2022 as far as horror movies, metal and rock music, and professional wrestling gets a small little glimpse in there. Just touched on that for a quick second. But I think now we're gonna talk about New Year's resolutions before we sign off. What do you think, Austin?
Okay, I have goals and resolutions in mind.
All right, give me your goals.
All right, so my goals are to post at least one YouTube video because I've been editing for a while and doing all that, but I've never actually posted one yet.
Never posted a YouTube video, but been practicing his editing all along.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to see how that goes for you. So that's a good goal to set. Do you have another one?
Yep, I have make a Roblox game, which I'm actually doing right before we started this podcast.
So you already started goal number 2.
Yes. I could probably actually finish it in like 10 minutes. I'm just making a really simple sword fighting one. And I at least want to publish it just to like get my stuff out there. And it's nice that I can like actually get something fast and done. And it's like it may be basic, but I'm gonna make at least more than one that I could probably make in like 20 minutes.
So what is the status also of Fortnite for 2022? What are we looking at here? What's this season looking like to you?
All right, I'm liking this season 100%.
You're lucky?
No, I'm liking this.
Oh, okay.
I'm liking this season. I've seen what's it called? I've been looking around. I've seen Foundation's almost there. Like he's almost time to unlock.
And who is that?
He's The Rock, actually.
That's right.
But because of the storyline, he's actually not The Rock. He's actually people hate how his like face is The Rock, but he's more descripted as the Foundation because for like the way the universe is, it's just distributed as Foundation.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense. So it is The Rock, but we're not calling him that. So The Rock is in Fortnite officially without being called The Rock.
Nice.
And what's the unlockables for this season so far? We don't know how the rest of the year is going to go yet, but for the first few months, we know that the unlockables are Spider-Man. Those are the big ones.
Yeah, the biggest one is Spider-Man. They also have like a llama skin. They have Ronin.
Venom Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm. They have the Future Foundation Spider-Man.
Ah, okay.
That's in the bonus rewards.
I didn't know that. Okay. So we got Fortnite on fire in 2022 so far. What makes this one better than the last one?
That it's kind of fresh. Like the last one, we've been for 8 seasons. Mm-hmm. We have just been on the same map, and pretty much the biggest difference is it's either been snowing or the middle of the map. And I was kind of getting bored landing the same places all the time. So when the map flipped over, I was actually playing that event. When I saw that map flip over, I was just thinking, what if there's a unflip button? Mm-hmm. But when I saw that map flip over, I was so amazed and I was excited. But then again, now that I'm not used to the map, I hate like going around really competitively because I think like I'm gonna turn this corner and I know exactly how to sense there's someone there or that there's always gonna be a chest here. But now it's all like a 50-50 chance.
How many times would you say you've come in first place in Fortnite in solos, duos, and trios combined?
In the entirety of Fortnite?
Yeah.
I could pull that up right now.
I'm sure you
I
could.
can go pull it up and I'll come right back.
Do you think it's like 50?
Could be. Here, I'll actually go pull it up. Say something.
Okay, I'm going to say something while Austin goes and pulls that up.
I'll be back. So right now Fortnite is loading. And when it is done loading, I will tell you the exact, because I'll do the math on this piece of paper.
Okay, so while we're waiting for Fortnite to load so Austin can tell us how good he is, what's your New Year's resolution?
My New Year's resolution is to pay more attention.
To?
Everything.
Oh, yeah?
Because I've noticed before I got COVID, I was not paying as much attention in school as I usually would.
Mm-hmm.
So since I've gone back, I've been doing my work extra hard and been bringing home work that it's not even assigned for homework. I just bring it home just to do it, because then I have less to do in school.
All right, I think that's fair. Do you have any questions for me?
Yes, actually. What are your New Year's resolutions and goals?
Oh, man, I don't know. I didn't really think about it. Let's see.
Should have wrote it down.
Well, I just always set the goal to try and be a good dad. That's number one every year. And just try and be a good person. And I set a lot of goals for the All Bets Are Off podcast. I want people to listen to it, watch it grow, and continue to work really hard on it. And hopefully all that hard work pays off, because our listeners keep growing and growing every week. So thank you, listeners.
Eventually, you could do daily podcasts.
Oh, I don't know if I have enough content
maybe at
for
least
that.
you already do weekly.
Yes, I do weekly.
You could at least do maybe 2 weekly.
Maybe I can, but right now we're going to do this. So for Christmas, Austin's grandmother, who's my mother, got me a Reptar bar from the Rugrats. You guys remember that? So me and Austin are going to do a live taste test of the Reptar bar, and it says, turns your tongue green. If you don't know who the Rugrats are, you're too young for me, bro. Let's see if we can open this thing. Well, all right, so it's got a glowing green wrapper on the inside.
Nice.
Austin's running around. I don't know what he's doing. Nope, now he's opening a drawer. All right, here you go, Austin. This is your piece. Wait.
I was just going to cut it into...
Don't go without me.
I won't.
All right, on the count of 3, we're going to eat it. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Not bad.
Tastes like frosting in the middle.
It is.
We're going to have to look in the mirror.
Turns out Reptar bars are pretty good. Let me see your tongue. Your tongue is green. It does turn your tongue green.
Does it turn your tongue green?
All right. Well, I think it's just about time to sign off. I don't know what Austin's doing with his Fortnite scores here, but...
check right now.
Well, we don't know, but we're going to say he wins a lot, because...
I do.
He's one of the sweaty kids. So
Sweat.
shout out to Chaz for not being able to be here today, but we got a replacement for you, and we don't know if we're going to let you come back.
Yeah, I've taken over. I'm going to be in more from now on.
Do you want to say goodbye to the listeners and tell them where to follow us?
Follow on ABAOpod.
On all social media. I'm still eating the Reptar bar. I'm sorry.
On all social media.
And as soon as I swallow this, I'm going to tell you guys we're wishing you a very happy 2022. We hope it started off right, and we know we started off right with Rudy Sarzo, so go back and listen to that if you haven't yet. Make sure you subscribe, rate the show, and leave a review, whether you're on Spotify, Apple, whatever. It doesn't matter. Leave us a review. It helps, and we truly appreciate it. So this is Robbie and Austin signing off, and Austin has something to say.
Unless you've already said this on your last podcast, Happy New Year.
All right. We'll see you guys next week on the All Bets Are Off podcast.
Bye.
The preceding presentation has been brought to you by the Gear Network.